Hello everyone, Rhea is back again on Being Unleashed. Looks like that Twitch related upload from the last time gathered some attention, and that for sure made me happy, especially with a channel this size. As promised last time, today I'm going to cover the topic of why alternative platforms to YouTube and Twitch fail to garner attention. Before actually discussing the topic of moving to different platforms, you might actually want to ping these monopolies and have a discussion about them, or rant like me like the previous upload. Sadly, it's useless to do such things, especially when people are dependent on products provided by them. The perfect example is the platform you're currently using to watch this piece of content. Even if big people like PewDiePie are ignored by YouTube, what's the point of screaming into a void if nothing is coming back for us, the users? About Twitch I'm dead silent, since that biased garbage only pays attention to female streamers, or to people which they sign a contract for. Yes, you can build an audience by taking dumps on these platforms, but what's the point of it if nothing is helpful? Even more, you can actually be silenced by them without even knowing about that. In example, shadow bans. This is where the alternative platforms arrive in the game, or how people usually call them, competition. In general, it's a great idea to have competition, as long as you have a choice, unlike a monopoly that imposes its own rules. But once again, these smaller platforms tend to either flop, be closed, or turn to absolute dumpsters like Facebook Gaming. At the release, the developers must rely on community support. And while exclusive partnership deals can help grow an audience, these can also hurt you by actively gathering negative attention, like those dumbasses from Epic Games Store. The main problem, like I stated in the previous upload, relies on us, the people, who support this garbage. It's easy to say, why should I bother registering to the competitor if I have YouTube, Twitch to watch content on? Even if the current things we use are absolute trash, censoring people left and right, or straight up banning for personal preferences. This point is what I have a problem with. Everyone keeps on bitching about how bad the situation is, yet they don't flinch a muscle when something new comes out, complaining that it's too bothersome to move to competition. I'm being honest, I was like this myself, and anyone can be like this. If you keep doing that while refusing to try out new platforms, excuse me, but you are...
You stuck-up precious little bitch, let me tell you something!
Oh boy, here we go.
I also have seen some platforms implementing the subscription model, where you pay money to receive access to content. Although these provide financial resources to creators, this method isn't viable to be honest, especially if the subscription gathered money is then divided between creators. Even if it's per creator payment, in comes the problem of a paywall, as you don't have enough resources to follow multiple personalities on stated platform. And some users might even go the way of piracy to receive such things, and that is already a big slippery slope. An example of paid content provider is Floatplane, which I'd like to thank this folk right here for concretizing what the thing actually is. This kind of approach is best implemented under a form of Patreon, with exclusive content and awards. Along the paid content exclusivity should be the reliance on big personalities, and limited access to them. Such moves for sure will make users look weirdly at the stated platform, as it directly represents favoritism, the problem I complained about related to Twitch. You can't simply expect users to just watch bigger folks, and refuse their request to become a member and produce content. That is morally a bad take. Until people are willing to change, everyone else has to bear with current problems of these monopolies. Like I said, it's just easier to sit on a chair, start crying over censorship, and waiting for something to happen. That's why I'm all for the development of a new platform, but these must have a standout feature without using tactics like exclusivity deals or paywalls. There's also the looming idea of censorship once again, as in 2020, if you express support for something, the platforms can easily destroy you via bans or hiding you from the results to not steer some drama. Looking back at Mixer, it's honestly a shame that it failed and was shut down. Microsoft once again failed to properly market their product, unlike that garbage operating system that tracks users on daily basis. Had they actually thought of the rest of the life cycle for this platform, and not just willingly throw money at the big name streamers, then maybe it would have had a chance to grow bigger and not close down with 1% market share. Even more insult to injury, some accusations started to spawn shortly after it closed, revealing some problems inside the management. Shortly said, a wasted opportunity. Now it's time for some of my own takes. First up is, I don't care if I get destroyed and removed from platforms, since my goals have been met a long time ago. Ever since the first ever user of this platform, who gave a shit about what I produce here. I'm grateful for everything, and if it does come to such a sad resolution, I'll be happy that I had some support from people, even if it was an inconsiderate amount. As stated before, there are some schemes that developers can use to build a platform, but it all comes down to the users. I despise any attempts to silence people, unless these are a real threat that can produce problems. Not to forget the pathetic garbage like Brime, probably the saddest attempt I ever seen at trying to create a streaming service. That thing is honestly a joke, not having domains, using Gmail for contacts, and begging trolls to allow them to use URLs. Even funnier is the fact that people couldn't even access alpha trial testing for that site. That bad the situation was. I'm not sure if this is the biggest troll pulled, or this sad thing is actually real. If this is how you create a platform, excuse me, but you must go back to the drawing board and rethink your strategy. Micro rant about that garbo is over, and I hope you get the idea that I want to share with you everyone. You must come out of the comfort zone to help a competitor for YouTube and Twitch to grow. Supporting a monopoly simply kills the alternatives, and it won't help push any changes. Mixer is a casualty, but that doesn't mean it's the end. There is still Storyfire out there, made by someone who actually gave a shit about content creators. Give everything a chance, since some of them actually deserve it. Well, except Epic Games Store, that thing is a train wreck that once was a good idea. That's a wrap for today. Thank you for watching this upload everyone, and a huge thanks for the comments, since it's really nice to see support on this secondary channel, even if it's a bigger grind than Gaming Zone itself. Drop a like if you enjoyed this content, and click that subscribe button to help this channel growing. This was Chris, stay on edge.